Welcome back, everybody. It is the Working Brother back at you with another talk. Yet again, we've got Dragana Trifković. Dragana, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm fine, I'm okay. Thank you very much.
Welcome back. It's good to have you back. You're coming to us from Moscow this time, is that correct?
Yes, correct. I'm now in Moscow. Already 2 months, I think.
Nice. How's the weather in Moscow? Do they have summer there?
We have Moscow summer with temperature between 10 and 20 degrees. It was 13 yesterday in the morning, and 2 days ago we had rain and some hurricane here, and it's Russian summer.
All right, so the weather is wild, basically, and unpredictable. Maybe you forgot, this is a comedy show. I just want to remind also the viewers that nothing we say here has anything to do with reality, at least as far as the lawyers and YouTube are concerned. In any case, we have a lot of interesting things to get to. You went and you visited the what are they called? Trophy exhibition.
Yes, it's a NATO trophy weapon exhibition in the Moscow. It's in the Park of Victory in the center of Moscow. There is also the memorial, which is based on the Second World War. And in the front of this memorial in the park, as you can see now, there are a lot of tanks, a lot of other weapons, technical cars, and also the rockets from different NATO states, from US, from England, Finland, from Turkey, from UK, I already said, from Austria, from Czechia, from all NATO countries. So these are the tanks and other weapons which they bring to Moscow from the Donbass, from the war zone. And it's a trophy weapon, which means that Russian army in the fight, after the fight, they bring this weapon here to show, yes, because we can hear all the time from the Western sources that they are not involved in the war in Ukraine. They are just supporting Ukraine. I mean, the Russian side thinks that NATO states and the collective West is deeply involved in the war in Ukraine, and I think yes, it's obviously that they are the one side in the war with Russia. This is the main point. They are just waging the war through Ukrainian hands, and this is the point. So this exhibition, it was, I think, the exhibition begins in May. So I was in late May there to see these weapons. But they decided to continue. I think there was a plan to close in May, end of May, this exhibition, but they decided to continue because there are a lot of people coming to see this, not only from, of course, from Moscow, but also from other regions in Russia. And there are also a lot of foreigners from US, from European countries. Some are like tourists, but basically these are also people who escaped from EU and US to Russia. And now also we have a big society here in Moscow from people from Belgium, from Germany, from Austria, from US, like I already said. They are coming here because there is, as you say, that this is the funny show. We are joking. There is democracy in the West, in the US, in the EU, and here is dictatorship in Russia. So the people are coming because obviously they like dictatorship. I think this
Yeah.
is the motivation. Because, in the past we had this situation, the communist times, that dissidents were running
Mhm.
from the east to west, and we have totally different situation now that people from the west are running and coming here.
You mentioned democracy. You reminded me, this was actually sent in by a family member. This is from 1999, Kuwait Times, newspaper in Kuwait. I think it's pretty self-explanatory right here. It's saying learn democracy in 10 days, and we've got all the bad guys right there. How the world has changed, and how they still have the same tactics. Um, Do you have anything to say about the recent? We discussed this a little off air before we started recording, but I wanted to get your take because you're in Moscow and Russia has had a heavy day today. Let's put it that way. And NATO, or as you say, Ukraine, the puppet of NATO, is being used to shoot at civilians in Crimea. And we've got some B-roll of that, but I want to get your take. How do you feel about what happened?
So unfortunately, it is happening almost every day. They are attacking, especially Crimea, but also the other cities near border. I mean, the cities in Russian territory, like Belgorod, like Kursk, like Bryansk. And this is their tactic. They are attacking the civilians, as you said. So we have this experience from 99 NATO bombing. Basically, they targeted also civilians and civilian infrastructure. So this is when they are losing on the front, they are attacking more civilians. I speak with people who live in this region close the Ukrainian border. So I asked them, since we know that we have offensive of Russian forces to Kharkov and this region, is it now the better situation in Belgorod or Kursk or Crimea? They said no, it's worse because they are even attacking us more. So literally every day they send rockets and drones, and the problem is that NATO and these Western countries are sending the weapons. So they are supplying Ukrainian side with more and more weapons, and with this weapon, they can reach the higher
Further distances, yeah, further distances inside Russia, yeah.
Yes. So this is the problem, and yes, the people are aware that they are in real dangers, and of course they cannot normally live in these regions near border, and especially Crimea. The Crimea is, I think, the main target of Ukrainian side. But yes, it's the main target of NATO because they plan to have their weapon on Crimea, and it is strategic point. So I think that is why they are attacking Crimea.
Medvedev opened a channel on Telegram in English for everybody who doesn't know. You can go find him in English now. The U.S. bastards are supplying Banderovsky with cluster munitions and help them aim at targets. The Kiev bastards are choosing a beach filled with civilians as their target and press the button. Both will burn in hell, hopefully, and not just the sacred flames, but even before that, in an earthly fire. What happened is not military actions, but sneaky and vile terrorist attack against our people. Moreover, it occurred on an Orthodox holiday, just like the massacre that extremists had carried out in Dagestan. Oh yeah, we still have to talk about Dagestan. Which is why now we do not differentiate between any of them, whether it is American authorities, Bandera regime, or insane fanatics. My deepest condolences to the families of the deceased. I wish the wounded the soonest recovery. Dragana, as we were just saying, NATO tactics. I mean, as we were just joking about, NATO tactics are basically that when they're losing on the battlefield, they either turn up the ethnic divide that we were talking about, right? The interracial and inter-religious tensions, and the other option is just plain terrorism, just like we had there.
Yes. Yes, that was what we talked about. They are using the same tactics. We know this from the 90s, from our experience from the war in Yugoslavia and the NATO bombing as well. So basically their doctrine is Clash of Civilization, the famous book of Huntington, which is not just a book, it's a project. So this clash of civilization and their idea to create the conflict between the different ethnic and the religion groups, and also to use the terrorism like they used in the Kosovo and Metohija through Albanians, and also like they supported Croatian extremists in the war, and also the Muslim extremists. So they didn't change the tactics.
It's funny when I'm listening to you. It's just funny. Like I can't help myself but laugh. But it sounds like you're crazy. It sounds like you're just listing off everything. But it's actually like that because like and that's just within Yugoslavia. Like just within Yugoslavia, they like pushed the Croatian Nazis basically, like fans of nuts. They really like the nuts over there in Croatia, all kinds of nuts in Croatia. And then in Bosnia, we had like Osama bin Laden, OG, like terrorist, was there in the 90s. People forget that. And then on top of that, we've got the religious type of, sprinkling on top. And
yes, it is conspiracy theory.
Of course it is. Russian propaganda. This is another clipping, like an actual newspaper clipping from the Kuwait Times, also from 1999. And you can see here, I don't know who this artist is, but he got it down. He had the comedy back then. You can see this is the NATO bombing of then Yugoslavia, also known as Serbia. We've got a tractor. Refugees with a family. We've got a bus. We've got a house with some civilians, and we've got the Chinese embassy.
Yes, very interesting. Yes.
I think it's a beautiful cartoon. And the fact that it's like what now, over 25 years old, is insane. The tactics basically haven't changed. I mean, the targets have changed and the people bombing have changed. I mean, they bombed an Iranian embassy. It was the Israelis, not NATO.
Yeah.
Do you laugh sometimes at the reality that we live in, Dragana?
Yes, our problem is that Serbians have too much experience, so they cannot be surprised. This is the problem, and maybe some other people are surprised. So we have long experience with this tactic, and I think, researched how they create these special operations, the coups in different countries when they don't like the governments, and they are not very good for these global structures. How they create the conflicts, the ethnic and the religious conflicts as well, and this is what they need to rule the world. So the things didn't change, but I mean, their tactics didn't change, but the world is changing, and they stay blind. They don't want to know about these changes and to understand that they cannot act like before. So they are continuing to act. And yes, today it was a really terrible day in Moscow. They organized terrorist attacks. I mean, when I said they, all the time when you research something, you can find some evidence about these global structures, deep state. I don't know how we can call them, but yes, all the time, basically, they use the terrorists in the Middle East, and you mentioned Al Qaeda in 90s in the Bosnia, Kosovo as well. The Bin Laden visited Kosovo after this, and
And let's
after
not forget the Yellow House. I mean, the Yellow House
oh
is just
my
like
God.
a child's playing bedtime story compared to what's happening in Ukraine now with, like, state sanctioned organ harvesting basically. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, the tactics are the same, and the scope and the extremity is basically just extreme and bigger and bigger every time. I just want to read here. Tim Kirby, Russia Hardcore, posted this. Sadly, videos all over OK and VK are showing that one of 5 American-made ATACMS rockets got through air defenses far enough to explode over the beach, at least drop its bomblets over the beach, being destroyed. In the Crimea, killing 3 beachgoers and injuring around 124. The missiles had cluster munitions, which we have talked about many times, and are designed to kill soft targets, like people on holiday at a beach, apparently. The Russian Defense Ministry blames the U.S. directly, and they provided the rockets. Without their support, Kiev could not launch them. Some report the Global Hawk UAV was used to guide these missiles towards Sevastopol. This image is a screenshot from the video of the wounded. This is what we played in the background. And then I want to get into the Dagestan news, which there's a battle going on near a church. This is since subsided. 52 school 52 is burning nearby in Makhachkala. There was a priest that was murdered, I believe. Dragana, do you want to clue us in a bit?
Yes, the priests and citizens who visited the church, as I know, and also the policemen who were there. I was today in the Moscow here in the church because we have Orthodox holiday today, and it's the birthday of Christian Church. So I saw policemen with the gun in the front of the church, and that was the sign that they expect something, because in regular situation there is not necessary to have police with guns in the front of church. But basically it's obvious that they had information that terrorists are preparing some attacks, and unfortunately they organized a terrorist attack in Dagestan, in Caucasus, which is also ethnically, it's a region with many different ethnic groups. And like Balkans, there are a lot of similarities with the Balkans and Caucasus. They want to create this conflict. So Yes, it's a really bad situation because they don't want to give up, and they are continuing to try to organize something very bad in the inside Russia, because they are losing on the front, and they want to organize something which will really shake the whole country. And it's obviously they want to create the civil war in Russia. And the Caucasus like region is very attacked by work of different special services, especially of British Special Service, Mossad as well, Israel Special Service, and the CIA, of course. And they are continuously working on the stabilization of this region, which is very important for the Russian security.
Yeah, what can I say? Those sound like conspiracy theories and Russian propaganda. Those people there want freedom. It has nothing to do with oil. It has nothing to do with the reserves that those people have. It has nothing to do with breaking up Russia. No, none of those things. It's just that they want freedom to commit terrorist acts.
Yes, freedom and democracy. And yes, the West is all the time supporting this, like in the Kosovo Liberation Army terrorist group, which they
Exactly.
supported.
And like the Free Syrian Army. If you like, you even in the name, you should like. Isn't there like a Dagestan Free Army? Like I'm sure.
Yes, yes, and ISIS as well. Yes.
ISIS Free Army. There you go.
They recruit also the people from this region, from Caucasus, for this group in the Middle East, in the Syria and Iraq. They did it in the past. So there are a lot of people who have already experience in the terrorism, extremism as well, and they are back here, and they are trying to these groups to create the destabilization and the conflicts. And also we can mention this terrorist attack in Crocus, which was organized also in this year. Also, they used the groups from Central Asia, from Tajikistan, because you have a lot of economical migrants here, especially in Moscow, but also in the other countries in Russia who are here to work. And they use this group, and they're trying to create the set of this network of these groups inside Russia, and to coordinate and organize the terrorist attack through them. So this is their game.
Yeah, and it's unbelievable how like on the same day, like today, where they on one side, like Medvedev said, they're all in the same category. They're all basically terrorists, and like when it happens like this on the same day, like you can like it's a signature. It's like the three-letter agencies, or as you say, the deep state or whatever, is like leaving a signature. They're like letting you know basically that this is what's happening. And regarding your story earlier about going to service today at the church and seeing the security forces there, earlier when we talked, you mentioned that you brought up that scene that we've got queued here actually, that a couple of months ago there was those icons were smuggled in. Do you want to talk a bit to that?
Yes, yes, you can see how we are. We have a really problem with some deep evil, because can you imagine that someone has idea to put the bombs?
Plastic explosive, yeah, plastic explosive is what we're looking.
Okay, yes, in the icons, and then they had a plan to activate this explosive in the churches, also when it's some holiday. I think it was prepared for one of the main Orthodox holidays, and it's lucky that Russians find out about these plans, and Of course, they didn't succeed to organize, but it was also planned to be a big terrorist attack, and similar organized in different churches at the same time in the side of Russia. But they are also trying to organize here. As I'm following this information, they are trying to organize also attacks on the mosques, on the Muslim religion objects,
Hmm.
and also on Jewish religion objects. There was, I think, a month or 2 months ago, one man was arrested here in Moscow trying to also organize something in the center of Moscow when you can find a synagogue. So yes, this is the main proof of their doctrine, that it's reality, not some fake news or conspiracy theory. This clash of civilization. And yes, it's very funny, but it's not even new doctrine, because we know that Huntington published this book in the late 90s, I think in 92, in the time of war in the Yugoslavia, and when this war in Bosnia just started, and the Yugoslavia was the experiment. But it's a not new doctrine, because they are using for 100 years, I think at least 500 years, this tactic to organize the destabilization, the conflicts, the coups, and so on. So maybe they just change the mechanisms which they use. Now they have, of course, internet and some new technical support, but the model is the same. The model is the same. And as you know, recently the president of Russia said that that it's over with this policy, and of course they don't like to hear this, that it's over with their tactic. And he literally said that how to translate in English, the dance of vampires is ended. So the game
The
of
dance, the vampires. Is that what you said? Vampires? Yeah. Huh?
Yes. He said in Serbian it sounds bal vampira je završen.
Yeah. So like the ball of vampires has finished. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on. Sorry.
Yes, this is something they don't like to hear, and basically the Russia is the one at the front side who is directly fighting with these global structures. Of course, we have also some different powers, like powers of Iranian forces and proxy groups as well in the Middle East, who are also fighting against these global structures. And we have also some groups in Latin America and Africa as well now, especially now, who are fighting. But basically only Russia, like a big state, it's in direct fight with these really insane and crazy global structures, which are also using US and also EU and different European Western countries for their plans, because I think the people there are also suffering. Now, in the past, it was not like that, but now I think they're also suffering because of ambitions of these crazy people, groups, companies, business structures, or however. It's hard to define them, because especially created like network that it's not easy to recognize. And when we speak about NATO, NATO is sending the weapon, and NATO is planning the attacks on Crimea, on Russia, like they planned in Yugoslavia as well. But it's also hard to define who is the deciding in NATO, for example? Is it Stoltenberg or is it Biden? Because America is the commander of NATO. Yes, it's funny if it's Biden. And yes, basically, it's very hard to understand the architecture of this global structure.
Yeah, what can I say? We've been going for half an hour. I was thinking of making 2 episodes, but I think we can put everything into one. I want to take a little break and tell everybody that if you want to, you can buy me a coffee. And I won't bother you with that again. Thank you to everyone who's bought me a coffee already. Everybody who's a patron on Patreon, thank you for sticking around. And now that that's out of the way, we can get to some better news. You were at SPIEF, also known as the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum.
No, it's not. It's not I mean, yes, it's international, but the name is St. Petersburg Economic Forum, and it's it's the main economic forum in Russia because they have 4 economic forums in Moscow. One is in Moscow, one is Vladivostok, one is Crimea, which is not organized for already 5 or 6 years. The last was before pandemic. And the economic forum in St. Petersburg is the main economic forum. So we can see the pictures from this forum. Yes, this is the Syrian ambassador in Moscow who is very active, and he's also organizing a lot of support for Palestinian people as well.
Do you want to go through the pictures one by one? Because I skipped through a couple of them. Maybe you want to introduce all the people and tell us where they're from, like
yes, you can go back. Maybe some of these pictures are important. This is the Prime Minister of the Donetsk People's Republic, and he signed the agreement at the Economic Forum. So I met him there, and I gave him my book in Russian, English. The name of book is Crimea and Donbass are Russia. All the world is Russia except Kosovo. Kosovo is Serbia. So yes, I published this book 2 years ago in Russia. It's in Russian language. And basically who is interested in the Balkans and in Serbian-Russian relations, and also in this NATO tactic, he can find in my book, because I research a lot Ukrainian conflict, and I compare this conflict all the time with Yugoslavia. And it's important because, we know this very well, but I find out that a lot of people really don't know. 30 years after the war in Yugoslavia, they still don't know what was happening there. And the problem is that even
it's too complicated. It's too complicated.
Yes, it's complicated to understand, especially if you read CNN and BBC, then you can find a lot of things that...
No, then it's really easy. Milosevic is the bad guy, Serbs are Muslim killers, end of story. Like, it's just like now. It's Russians are evil.
Yes, and basically they still have this in their mind that yes, Serbians are bad, Russians are bad, Milosevic, Putin is new Milosevic. This is what they are all the time pushing, and this propaganda is based, and it's continuously based on this anti-Serbian propaganda, or anti-Serbian and anti-Russia is the same propaganda.
Anti-Slav, basically.
Yes.
Who's this?
And this is his grandfather is Mandela. And,
okay.
Yes. So he was. He speaks at one panel about the multipolarity with Maria Zakharova from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Russia, and there was the Dugin as well, and some people from the Middle East, in India,
Yeah,
China.
we've got pictures. Wait, let's get to them, and then you
Okay.
can tell us about that whole panel. Who have we got here?
Oh, here we have just a second. He's from Germany, and he's the cousin of Bismarck.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. He's the guy who in Berlin, when they put that tank, he went to put flowers on that Russian tank. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, he's the cousin of Bismarck, and but he's visiting Russia all the time, and he organized some conferences in Berlin as well, and he's supporting the cooperation between Germany and Russia. So he's a good guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, he was always let's say he was against Germany committing suicide.
Yes, yes.
So you got Mandela's grandson and you've got Bismarck. Let's keep going.
Bismarck, yes.
This is from Donetsk. This is
Yes,
you said
he's
that
a
was the ambassador.
Yeah, Syrian ambassador in Moscow. Before this, he was in the UN. He has a lot of.
That's where I know him from the
Yes,
UN.
yes. He
Because
has
his
a
face
lot
is familiar.
diplomatic experience, and he's very good. And I said to him that I'm from Serbia, and that I'm following and what is going on in Syria, that I have visited Syria, and that I'm supporting Syrian people. And he said to me, yes, Serbia and Syria is the same. I mean, in the sense that we are the same victims of these NATO structures. But I think the Syria was more attacked than Yugoslavia, because I asked what you think, how many victims you have from this war, and they said probably 1 million people. It's really a lot of people has died there and fighting with these freedom fighters. Yeah.
Yeah, Syrian Free Army, and
Yeah.
that the Free Syrian Army is like the light version, like the best PR acceptable version of these terrorists. It's crazy, but yeah, Syria has really gone through an unbelievable amount of stuff. Maybe one day I'll share with the subscribers my reporting, because like maybe I mentioned it before, but I used to work for Kuwait television.
Yes, I
Kuwait
remember.
News a while ago, now maybe 20 years ago. When did the Syria thing start? When did, like,
Interesting.
2014, 2015, something like that? Is that when it
Yeah.
started in Syria? When the UN weapons inspectors and everybody went in? Was that 2014? So it's been like 10 years in Syria,
Or
basically. 10 years of war.
maybe, yes, something like this.
I
Yes.
think so.
Yeah.
I'll have to do a special episode on that. But let's go back to your SPEIE. See,
Yes,
there is an
sorry, I
I.
just have one question. I realized that you already mentioned me before that you worked in Kuwait. Is it
Hmm.
this press? I didn't visit Kuwait, but I heard a lot about this press center in Kuwait, who Americans organized there for briefings of U.S. Army, and when this invasion on Iraq started.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which invasion? Haha, of Iraq? Because there's like three,
First
technically.
one
Like the
in
the the first
19, in
the first one.
19,
No, the first one. I was there after the first one. Like after the liberation of Kuwait, and when they went into Iraq a little bit, and then they went back out, and then they went 2000 and something back in. I think 2003, and then 2005 again. I can't remember, but like without a timeline, it's just confusing. But the point
Mhm.
is they went there a couple of times. I was there only for the latter ones, not the first original one. Um,
No. But
this is
it's
you.
a very famous press center because it was organized to totally destroy the journalist profession, and to organize like briefings for journalists from these U.S. officers and U.S. Army. So they literally canceled this professional journalists, especially these journalists who were involved in war zones, because they didn't allow to investigate after this, and they just was able to visit these briefings of U.S. Army, and the U.S. Army, of course, wanted to present that what is really happening there, that they are fighting for democracy. Yes.
It's exactly like the briefings of NATO and Jamie Shea during the
Yes.
bombing from Aviano Air Base. Like, you know, they're like making up imaginary figures, and then yeah, we've discussed it before. Let's get back into the wonderful multipolar world of SPIEF.
Yeah. This is the delegation from Pakistan, and on the right side is journalist, my colleague. He's working also for this Persona Strane, or the how to translate it, person of state. It's a Russian federal journal, and he's also working there. And on the left side is the ambassador of Pakistan in the Moscow.
All right. I got to check with you how, because we're doing this off of your phone, because you had a new laptop plus other stories. So this was easier to set up. How are you doing with your battery on your phone? Because I've had people, you know, have their battery run out. So you're good?
It's okay, yes.
All right, excellent. All right, let's keep going then.
I have a Chinese phone with a good battery.
Oh, the Chinese. Oh, my brother got a Chinese phone recently. His battery lasts for like a week, and his camera can like take pictures of the moon and stuff like that. It's crazy.
Yes, it's interesting. I bought here in Moscow a new laptop, and it's Huawei. And when I went to a shop, and I speak with the sales, and I said, but do you have HP or some famous brands? And they said, no, we don't have it at all, but this Huawei is much better. And I said, but I don't know anything about these computers. So I decided to risk, and I can say it's really very good.
All right, excellent. So another win for the multipolar world, or basically for Chinese technology.
Yeah.
Maybe next time when we talk, we can get into China and you know, Taiwan, that other part of China.
The famous Brazilian journalist. I like to read him very much. Pepe Escobar. He also likes to joke all the time, and sometime when I have time, I translate his articles in Serbian and publish in my website. And he's very smart guy, and know very much about these global structures, their tactics, and so on. And he's joking all the time about their work.
Yeah. He's been around the block, one can say, and he knows what he's talking about.
Yes.
This is
the lady from the Lebanon. I'm sorry I cannot say the name now because it's hard for me to remember
Is it Marwan, maybe? Is it Marwan, her name? It sounds...
just a second, maybe I can check. I have visit cards here. So since that we are just a second.
Let's see if we can...
it's Zainab Al-Safar. She's from Lebanon, but basically she's from Iraq. Very smart lady, and she also speaks in this panel about the multipolarity world with this Mandela cousin and Dugin and Maria Zakharova as well, and it was very interesting to hear them all. This is the president. This is the president of Russia Federation.
This we should know who it is, yeah. But it's your picture. This is like a photo that you took. This is not like from a news
From
website.
Economic Forum, yes.
Yeah.
And this is Scott Bennett from U.S., my colleague. You know that Scott Reed couldn't come to St. Petersburg Economic Forum because they took his passport in the U.S. and they didn't
Sure,
want
they
to
did.
allow. Yeah.
There's a lot of details about that story that are suspicious about Ritter. I think Ritter just got scared to come to Russia for a second time. I don't know. If you know Ritter, if you have a contact for Ritter, tell him I want to interview him.
Yeah.
But in any case, tell us about Scott Bennett.
Yes, he came to this event, and I speak with him a little bit about the situation in the U.S. because I'm interested in what is going on there and what he thinks about the next elections in U.S. And I heard like from a lot of people from U.S. that they are saying there will not be the elections in U.S. And I asked how do you mean there will be not elected? So
You can't have
I
elections if you have World War III, if we're all in our bunkers
nuclear
and
war,
it's
yes,
nuclear.
nuclear war before this. It's possible. Unfortunately, we can make jokes, but unfortunately, it's possible because these people are totally crazy and they don't want to give up. And
No, they're beyond crazy. Crazy.
they already built the bunkers, you know.
Mhm.
So we can joke, but they have bunkers.
Crazy. It doesn't even begin to cover it because they're purposefully evil. Crazy is just like doesn't care. But when you put C4 in icons to put in churches, you're beyond crazy. There's something
Yes,
more than that.
yes,
Um,
yes. Yes, this is the
Maria.
strongest lady from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the press secretary of Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Maria Zakharova. She also gave the speech on this panel about the
Hmm.
multipolarity. And what is interesting, you can now hear openly that this high-level functionaries from Russia are saying that we don't care at all about the West, about the Europe, about the US, and they are now focused on cooperation with African states, with Latin American states. This is the French delegation, yes, this is the delegation from France. Our colleague from the Center for Geostrategic Studies, there was our colleagues from India, from France, from Baltic states. We met all on this forum. Yes, and Russians are openly saying now that they don't care about cooperation and they don't want to cooperate with the Western. Our colleague from India, Rishabh Sethi, they don't want to cooperate with the West because they tried for decades to create good relations and good cooperation, but they didn't succeed because the West don't want to cooperate with Russia. Yes, this was boxing. This is, yes, the main organization of Boxing Federation of Russia. And so I decided to try how strong I am, but I didn't say to them that I'm training the boxing
Oh,
for
you
all the.
train box as well? No
Yes,
way.
yes. Yes, so they were very surprised because I hit it very hard, and they said, "Wow, where are you from?" I said, "I'm from Serbia," and they asked how the old Serbian women are so strong. I said, "Yes, of course, we are boxing from." Uh, we started 2 or 3 years and boxing all our life because we need to be prepared for our role in life. It was funny, yes, and there were some champions of boxers there, which I met first time, and it was very nice. But I like box very much, and
Wait, but when
I'm
you say box, you mean like traditional box, not like kickboxing or like yeah.
traditional box because I have trainings here in Moscow with a trainer who was he was the last boxing champion in the USSR. Vasily
Nice.
Dudarev. So yes, this is my trainer, very professional trainer here in Moscow, and the youngest Sergey, who is also the champion. And but I also have training in Belgrade, not so at high level, but yes. So let's go back to St. Petersburg Economic Forum. Yes. Um, this is my report for Armenian news. They asked me to give some comments on this. And what I said is that Westerners didn't succeed to destroy Russia by sanctions and to isolate Russia because these people who are coming from Western states here visiting Moscow, they can see that here their life is totally normal. And in the shops you can find everything, even you can find the products from the West. You can find the Italian wine and French wine in the market, and German chocolate or Austrian, and also the products from US, and a lot of them.
Sanctions are working. Shh. Don't spoil it for my subscribers in the West. Sanctions are working.
Yes,
Russia is isolated.
They just need a little more patience, and Russia will be totally destroyed by sanctions.
Exactly. Exactly. Um, this is more footage from SPIEF. How crowded was it? How big is this place? Like, how many people do you think visited on a daily basis?
Well, there was a lot because it's a big complex of this Expo Forum in the St. Petersburg. It's a really big event, and I think around 30,000 people were there, representatives of more than 130 countries from all over the world. As you see on the photos, there was the people from the EU, from the US, from the West as well. But probably they will have problems when they go back to US or EU because of democracy. Yeah?
Democratic
So
values don't
people
let you visit. Don't let you visit multicultural events. Only gay pride events.
yeah,
What were
yeah,
you going
yeah.
to? What were you going to say? Sorry.
These are people from Moldova. The best exhibition there was Moldovan because they had wine from Moldova and also these very pretty ladies and the music and also very tasty food, and it was like party. So you can all the time there was a lot of people there. It was like a restaurant in the side of this expo, and the people from Moldova organized it very well. And as you can see, there was also representative of business, new technologies, also the journalists, the sportsmen. It's a really big and very important event. But what I want to say that. Basically, this economic forum was organized by Russian liberal structures in the 2007 or 2004, something in this period. And basically, this forum was organized for developing cooperation with economic cooperation with Western countries. But they now reorganized this forum, and it's focused on developing the relations with in Asia, BRICS countries, Africa, Latin America, and so on. But things are changing also inside Russia because They have already, I think, 3 decades or more. They developed these westernized elites, Russian elites, and as you can see, if you compare Medvedev and Medvedev's statements 10 years ago and now, maybe you can find out it's totally not the same person, and totally different person. But yes, they realize they cannot cooperate at all with the West. That is something what we find out 30 years ago. I mean, Serbian people. You cannot speak with them. You cannot discuss with them. They don't want to discuss. Their democracy is like on this first cartoon, I think, first picture.
Yeah.
You have 10 days to learn democracy, or we will bomb you. It's so the conversation is it's over. This is it, and they decided to speak with Russia as well, from this position, and it was a very bad decision for West, I think, because in a different way, if they try to cheat Russia, they probably will succeed in this, and they will stay the main leaders in the world, yeah, in the monopolar world. But yes, they were very aggressive, and so they basically committed suicide, I think.
Yeah, the West has definitely committed suicide in more ways than one, and spiritual suicide is not far from it. Dragana, thank you for stopping by. This has been an excellent talk. We got to cover a lot of topics with you. It was excellent to have you back again. Let's catch up again soon. How long are you staying for in Russia? Do you have any timeline?
No, still no, because for me, I'm like refugee from Europe in Russia, like with all other people from Belgium, Germany, and Austria. So we have a nice time in Moscow here. It's not hot too much, as I said. The temperature is between 10 and 20 degrees, and a lot of nice events. I mean, not this so nice like this organized terrorist attacks, but
Yeah.
you can find some different very nice events, cultural events, sportive events as well. So yes, I prefer to stay in Moscow because I don't like this atmosphere in the Europe, because like in 90s, when if you travel from the Europe to Russia, you can feel this proportion of disaster in the Russia, like totally destabilized country. Like it was the same in Yugoslavia in 90s. But now this is the beginning of 90s in Europe, and I don't like this because I already lived in this 90s, and I don't want to live again in this time, because it will be like all my life in 90s. It's a nightmare. I don't like this. So that is why I decided to stay more in here in Moscow.
It's like that meme. It's like that meme where it's like, we don't have internet, pretend it's the 90s, talk to each other, and then there's like, Bosnian Serbs and Croats looking at each other. We don't want to pretend it's the 90s anymore. I just want to draw attention to, I almost forgot this. Pungar's cat shared this. Never let a good crisis go to waste. So this person, Jürgen Nodit, I don't know who he is, but he's got a German and a Ukraine flag in it. And Crimea vacationers came under missile fire. He posts a doctored fake picture, which is from Jaws, released in 1975. So the fakes are there always. I just wanted to pop that up before I forgot by the end of this episode. All right. Dragana, anything you'd like to say before we close this off?
Yes, we didn't have a lot of time to speak about Middle East. because we have a lot of topics and it's really hard to follow even all the information these days because literally every day some new surprises and something is happening every day. Everything is happening now. So yes, it will be nice to speak again soon, and it was my pleasure.
Perfect. Thank you again for stopping by. Thank you to all the subscribers, supporters, everybody who stuck around to the end. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. See you around, everyone. Peace.